All right, so I don't know if I'm going to upload this or not. I have to get into my chiropractor appointment in about 5 minutes, so I want to make this quick. I haven't done a video about this topic, but I feel like it's the time for me to talk about this and get it off my chest and off my mind. I am someone that in the last couple months to a year, somewhere in that time period, I have gotten into this habit where I cannot stop thinking about death and dying. I think about it every day. I think about it all the time. And I think what triggered this is having a lot of deaths in my family over a couple year period. I had my Uncle Tim die of an overdose, my Aunt Tammy die of an overdose, my Aunt Jill die, my Uncle Doug die, my grandfather Earl die, and just getting that reality check that one day I will die too. And see, this is a very depressing topic. This is, quote, a morbid topic that people don't like talking about, but it's something to me that it has become a bad habit of me thinking about, and it's starting to play into my everyday life. It's like before I would think about it and it would come to my mind and I would maybe talk about it a little bit, but now it's every single day that I'm thinking about this and I'm asking myself, what is a way that I can cope with this, or I can somehow counteract it or put it into my music or my art or my videos or my life? How can I deal with this thing but not trying to deal with it like it's a burden on me? And I don't know of a way to do it. I honestly don't know of a way to do it. And if I'm being honest, it scares the shit out of me. I'm scared to die. I'm horrified of death, if I'm being honest. I know when I'm dead, I'll be dead. And I don't like bringing up these topics. I do not like bringing this stuff up. But you know what? I might have to start talking about it more because it's something that it just is what it is. I can't help it that this is what it is. And I'll tell you, philosophy and knowing and understanding more things and becoming more logical, it is one of the biggest double-edged swords that I have ever discovered and that I know in my life, because in times it does things for me that might need to take place at that time to help me through a certain time. But the more logical that you become and the more that you know, for me, it has not, it has turned into a bad thing. It's not a, quote, good thing, knowing more and being more logical, because when you find out things and you know more, you get to this dead end almost in your life because you already know so much. So therefore, you're like, well, what else is there to know? What else is there possibly for me to learn in this life? And people don't want to talk about their valleys. They don't want to talk about when life gets hard and when they end up in these situations or these times in their life where they don't want to talk about these things, but you have to talk about it. Because if someone like me holds on to this and I don't express it and I don't speak on it and get it off my chest, And that doesn't mean that it's going to leave my presence. That doesn't mean that it's just going to voila, and it's just going to, magically disappear from my thoughts. And I do not like speaking about this. I do not like speaking about this at all. But lately I've been telling myself, maybe I do need to go to a counselor or a therapist or some kind of place where other people think of the same thing or are going through the same thing or think the same way that I do, so that I can relate or have somebody that understands what it is that I go through and the things that happen with me on a daily basis. Because admitting that you don't have your shit together, admitting that there is something off with you, this is the hardest thing for humans to do today, because we act like we have to look like everything's all good. We have to act like everything's fine. We have to act like and put on the fact that we can't do any wrong here. And, look at my beautiful dinner that I just made. And everybody shows you all the good things, all the things that are beautiful and lovely. And look what I put together. And that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But me, I have a dark side and I have a light side, and dealing with both of those sides and knowing how to cope with them and to bring them in accordance with a scale where the pendulum is not swinging too much on one side, that is where it isn't that I'm trying to do something. It's just I'm allowing it to happen. And in me allowing this to happen, all that I can possibly think that will happen is that this is a process that I'm going through, that this is something that will eventually dissipate from my thoughts, but maybe it won't. And that kind of scares the shit out of me in a way. But in a way, if I can find a way to counteract this, or I can find a way to put this into something, a craft, or do something to just help me with it a little bit, then I'm fine with that. But it's just like something's been nagging at me for the longest time. For the last couple months, it's just something has been nagging at me. It's just something. I usually go through this up and down process, up, down, where I'm in my manias and then I'm in my lows. I'm in a mania and a low. But this time, it's almost like I'm not in a mania and I'm not in a ultra low point, but I'm somewhere above low, but I'm not near a mania. I'm like in the middle, but below the middle a little bit, if that makes sense. And for me, I'm not content with that. There are days where I don't feel like this so much, but today is one of those days, and a lot of other days I have these days, and having to talk about it is the part that sucks. Having to actually discuss it and get it off my chest, it sucks because I don't want to talk about it. And sometimes I wish that I could just erase it off my thoughts. I wish that I could just get rid of it and not even think of it. But now I'm in a habit of doing it, and I don't know how to get out of the habit. So I don't know. It just is what it is, and I'm letting it be what it is, and maybe talking about it will help some. I don't know. But I got to go into my appointment. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for the support. Thanks for listening. If you do think of these things, find other people that think of the same things and maybe get together and talk about it. I don't really know the answer for some of these things, but take care. Later.